Hey everyone, I'm just showing how I move from an auto-lease dough into a fully mixed dough. So here I have the levain, which has been fermenting for about 5.5 hours. It's a little slow today, so hopefully it doesn't impact the final bake at all. Thought I refreshed it well from vacation, but all right, so we're gonna get started here. So this has been auto leasing now for about 2 hours, a couple dry spots here. And we'll be throwing in the levain first, so we'll get started with that. So part of the thing here too is that I really find that the Sunmix is happier if it's at least 70% full. So for those of you who are mixing up at the minimum levels of your unis, I'm not sure what impact that has. It might not be enough dough to actually reach the breaker bar in order to prevent the dough from creeping up the hook, but I'm not 100% sure as I don't have an uni, but would like to have one day. This is a Sunmix EVO10, so maximum capacity of 10 kilograms of dough. This batch right here will be around 8,100 grams. So I'm gonna make I'll be making nine 900 gram loaves, batards. Okay. It is warm today because it's sunny in Seattle. So the dough's a little bit warm. Hopefully it doesn't mind that I'm going to be mixing it up and warming it up even more. So I put in the salt in now. Some people wait a little bit, but I like to just go ahead and get it in there so there's time for it to mix up. Maybe someone can tell me if there's a reason why I should be waiting, but for now I get the salt kind of going in. Go. Try to get mixed up a little bit. And so I think I need to move the camera a little bit so you can see how I do the bassonage. There we go. By my bassonage water ready to go, I've withheld probably about 10 to 15% of what I think I'm going to need in order to get it to be quote unquote right. Part of what I enjoy a lot about baking is playing around with local flours, fresh milled flours and things, and so I'm never quite sure what the quote unquote right amount of hydration is going to be. So I kind of guess that'll be close to about 85%, and I set aside enough for 85%, but then depending on how the dough is feeling as the mix goes on, I'll make calls about when to continue or stop adding water. So for sure this is looking really dry. If you stop it now and take a look at it, it's like really dry to the touch. The gluten's not super developed yet, but it's not bad actually. So it's giving me a little bit of resistance when I tug on it, but then you can see that it's just tearing, and it's tearing, and then, so it's not quite there, which is fine. I wouldn't expect it to be at this point. But what I'll start to do now is start to add the bassonage water and actually turn up the RPM. And so hopefully you guys can see this. But what I'm doing is I'm pouring it in from the side here until it makes a bit of a pool. But this actually helps get the cruddies off the bottoms as well, so that way it picks up on any dry bits. And you can see that the dough starts to almost like come apart. And so this used to freak me out a lot because I'm like, oh my God, I ruined my dough. It's falling apart. But it comes back together. So just do a little bit at a time. and see where your dough and the flours that you have, where they want to be in terms of hydration. And again, this is I think Mark Benoit said it best when he said this is a seasonal sport. So the same flours even can behave differently on different days. It's really dry right now in Seattle, so I would expect to have to hydrate it a bit more than normal. But this particular batch of flour, so it's 50% Trailblazer from Karen Spring Mills, 25-ish% whole wheat espresso from Karen Spring, a small amount of Chimicum Confluence, and then some Sonora that Thomas Broom out on Vashon Island gave me. And so I have no idea what this is going to look like. But this particular batch of Trailblazer is less able to handle the hydration. So you can see that the water's gone back in now. So you can kind of feel it a bit. It still feels pretty dry. It's still a bit tearing in terms of the gluten development. So I'm going to add more water, and we'll see where it goes from here. And I like to make sure, you know, we're 10 minutes into overall mixing at this point. And what I like to make sure is that we don't have any dry spots on the bottom. Nothing's grosser than chunkies on the bottom. And so sometimes it just gets in a mood and it gets chunky on the bottom. But something that really helped is putting the bassinage water on the side of the bowl. So I generally don't have that happening as often. Now, I'm touching the dough now and it's really starting to feel pretty silky. So like before it was feeling pretty dry to the touch, not as silky, and not as hydrated. And so right now I'm feeling the dough and it's feeling pretty good, feeling pretty silky. So I'm gonna mix it up just a little bit more to see if it absorbs more of the water. And I might add the rest of this. Right now I have quite a bit that I've withheld actually. So I think I have about 225 grams of water left to go to be at a full 85%. Which isn't too much. Like again, I've put in at this point probably like 3,100 grams of water. So I'm also looking for how does it sound in the bowl. So it starts making this sort of like squishy, squeaky sound whenever the gluten is properly developed, because the gluten itself is starting. It sounds like because the gluten itself has developed to the point where it's sticking and tearing as it's not tearing's not the right word, but it's the most de-sticking, I guess, to make this sort of slappy noise. And we're not there yet. Starting to get there though. Hopefully y'all can hear that. I'm pretty happy with how this feels. Again, I'm using a Sonora for about 20%, and I don't know if it can handle as much hydration as the whole grain. And I know for sure, oops, here's a dry spot down here, so you can see it got kind of cruddy down here. And I don't want, I'd like for that to get mixed in, so I kind of just scratch it. Sometimes I'll get in with a bowl scraper, but for now I just scratch it with my nail. But you can see that chunk down there. Actually, let me get that. I don't know how they do it at the commercial bakeries. If someone knows, let me know. That'd be cool. Or maybe they just don't care. Ugh, dog hair. I know, gross, you guys. I have a dog. Just gonna mix it at a higher temperature. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. Sorry, Maurizio. I know you're all about the desired dough temp. I got things to do. I'm pretty sure I'm happy with this. It did dry out a little bit as we were sitting here, so I think I might add just a touch more water. Okay. Hopefully I don't regret that. Yeah, so it's starting to go from sounding like someone smacking their lips to this slightly squeaky noise. Like someone squeaking their tennis shoe on the floor. And so I know I'm getting close. So this isn't a lower hydration or a enriched dough, so you're not going to get the full cute pumpkin, or I've not been able to get it, but this gets you an idea of where things should be. And so I like to just grab a fistful, kind of pull it. You can see the gluten's developed now. It feels really silky. You know, it's kind of, I can throw it. This feels really good to me right now, and I'm pretty happy with the progress here. Now, there are a couple of like little lumpy bits, and again, this is my first time working with Sonora, so I'm not sure if that's to be expected, but I'm pretty happy with the way this dough is looking. I'll probably pull it out now and finish the rest with a couple of stretch and folds over the next few hours during bulk But yeah, so that's how I do it. This is what I'm looking for, this really beautiful sort of silky smoothness of the gluten. Not quite a full window pane, but that's okay. The gluten will continue developing with some stretch and folds in bulk. All right, thanks.